Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z and Corey Clubb, the podcast you're looking for. This is, yes.
For an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
We've been waiting for you.
The force is strong here, even stronger than the coffee.
Welcome to Coffee with Kenobi. Here are your hosts, Dan Z and Corey Clubb.
All right, well, currently we are driving home from the airport in Chicago, and we're done with Celebration Anaheim, Corey. What an amazing experience.
That's right. You know, it's a rainy 1:30 in the morning here, and we're just driving. Thought we'd recap real quick some of the events that went on in day 3. We didn't get a chance to do that before, so we're trying to recap now. And just kind of decompressing as far as, you know, what the day held and what was revealed, who we had to speak with, who we had to meet up with, and let's just start with day 3, Dan. We got there about 7:30ish.
We got there early.
Yeah, so it was pretty packed, but we got like the third section over in the queue to get in.
Yeah. No, I think that was Saturday is that was the busiest day because it's Saturday, so people who don't take work off, like us crazy, Coffee with Kenobi co-hosts, everybody shows up, and we got there, as you said early, we were one queue over, and it was Rebels Day.
That's right. Pretty excited because I'm a big fan of Rebels.
You are?
I'm a huge fan of Rebels. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, good. Yeah,
and
I think you'll...
my voice cracked. I got it. And, yeah, it's late, folks. We're a little slap happy. We're having some good times. So.
It's going to be good quality podcasting.
Yeah, no, this is just totally raw. This is just, I don't know.
We want you to feel like you're driving home with us in the car from the airport. When you've had no sleep for 1,000 days, and you couldn't be happier because you got to be at Celebration Anaheim.
That's right.
But we digress.
Exactly. So we're standing there in line and got to talk to some great folks in line that are enjoying the Saturday event. They like first timers, I guess, as far as conventions, and they've done some in the past. So it's kind of fun to talk to new and old fans standing in line there and get the perspective on, you know, just taking in the sights and sounds of the convention for the weekend, and like the one-day passers that we said, that a lot of kids there, a lot of families there to check out the con and see some fun things, and so we get let in, and we're on the convention floor, and what's the next thing that happened, Dan?
Okay, so we'll try, like we said, we've had our recap from on day 1, the morning of day 2. We did our recap of day 2, the morning of day 3, but we haven't done the recap of 3 and 4, like Corey mentioned at the top of this. So it's sort of hazy, but I think Friday the first thing we did was Saturday, right? That's what I meant. Sure,
we're crazy right now.
We're crazy. That's great. We haven't had enough coffee. It was the Rebels panel. Did we run over to do that right away?
We did. We ran over to get in the queue for the Rebels panel, which was pretty full. We got in to the Rebels panel, and
we got separated.
We got separated a little bit, and you got ahead of me.
Oh, you know what? I remember what happened.
Okay.
You went, I don't know where you went. You went to do something or do something. I don't know what you did. But I went over and I met Steve. Right?
Oh, that's right. No, I went and got in line.
Yeah, you got in line.
And I got in line, and I ended up running into Mediocre Jedi. We stood in line for a good time, got to talk to him, so it was cool to chat with him for a long set of time.
He's an awesome guy.
Great guy. And we got to sit together, he and I did, and experience the panel together, and we didn't know going in what was going to happen. This is our perspective from where we sat. Kind of, you and I remember you coming in then later on.
Yeah.
We stood up and kind of waved to each other where we were sitting.
Can I get to talk about meeting Steve?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
Thanks.
You were meeting Steve.
Settle down.
Sorry.
It's good. It's good. So I went over to meet Steve. We've, of course, been on the show. That's, I think, maybe one of the highlights about Celebration. I have no doubt my
Steve Sansweet, right?
Yeah. No, just meeting people that you talked about on the show. When you see them in person and they make a connection with your voice and your face, and when they talk to you and they remember the fun things you talked about with them, it means a lot. I mean, just like it does with anybody, because these are all just people. And we're going to talk about Corey's circle theory later, because I think it's excellent. But he was very gracious. jokes about the coffee truck again with us, and we gave him our Coffee with Kenobi mug. Much more on that special exclusive later. So he was very nice and kind, and he'll certainly be on the show much more as we continue this podcasting journey we call CWK.
That's right. And so anyway, we got the Rebels panel.
Yeah.
We sat down, we kind of waved at each other, and they're playing some music and getting the crowd all ramped up and stuff. And we sat down, and lights went down, and they introduced basically the whole entire cast of Rebels.
Well, Jet, remember that intro with Jet, though? How he was, like, superimposed in the trailer?
Oh, my gosh, it was hilarious. So they had the teaser trailer from last year, November, and Jet was superimposed in it, and he was in every single scene doing hilarious stuff that he does, doing great Jet little, goofiness, and doing his thing. He was incredible. So they have them, and the Jet announces them to come out. He's the host. So the whole Rebels cast comes out, along with Dave Filoni and Simon Kinberg. And so, I didn't expect, I thought it was just the regular cast. It was cool to see Dave and Simon come out, and it was really awesome. And then they, of course, just dived right into the questions that Jet prepared a little bit. They talked about Season 1 leading up to Season 2. And
when he mentioned we were separated, I was like towards middle right, and you were like middle left.
Right.
And I was scared, of course, because you weren't there. Yeah, your left, my right. Yeah, what he said.
If you're facing forward, it's your left next to your right.
That's why I said I was middle right and you were middle left.
Got it.
What is wrong with you?
If you're facing the stage, looking back from the stage, looking at the crowd, it'd be my left, your right.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Now it sounds like an Abbott and Costello routine.
Who's on left?
Who's on left? By the way, this recording you're hearing, in all of its glory, unmitigated, non-sleep splendor, we're using our laptop because the recorder it didn't work as well. That's fine, we're going to get a new memory card. Back to the show. I sat next to Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland.
Awesome.
And Thomas, Riddle from Star Wars in the Classroom. And again, more on that later, but wonderful people, really fun. And I think it was the only time during the entire convention I was a little nervous. And I think I was just I was excited. I was trying to record the entire panel, which we will hear at the end of the show, and including audience reactions, which was nice. And I was trying to tweet at the same time, too, and it's pretty tricky to do that and keep your eyes on the thing. We learned a lot about covering conventions through Celebration anyway, but you mentioned how the whole cast comes out, and you've seen the trailers. The cool thing about the trailer is that when we saw the trailer, the cast saw the trailer for the first time with us. Yeah, and they all came to the front of the stage, and they sat, some laid down, and they watched like they were at home watching TV, and oh my gosh. Do you want to talk about the trailer a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I didn't expect the trailer, honestly.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought I'd see like images.
I thought it'd be images. They did throw some concept art up, and that was kind of the ideas of what the trailer showed.
Yeah.
And the trailer, oh my gosh, just blew me away. It blew me away for real. And I want to say it's right up there with the second teaser trailer for Force Awakens that we saw
I liked it
Thursday.
better.
You liked it better.
I did. I don't know why. I think it's because, well, okay, Han Solo was in it. That was the thing that makes the men cry, right?
No, it is the thing. But you're referring to the teaser that we saw for Force Awakens.
That's right. And then, so seeing the new cast of Force Awakens was wonderful, and I love that trailer. And yes, of course. But Rebels is like, it's doing something to me. You know what I mean? And it helps to talk to the cast and all that good stuff. But it was just so fresh in my mind what's going on with the Rebels. I don't know what's going on with the crew in the Force Awakens because I've never seen the film. We know nothing about that particular part of Star Wars. But we know about Rebels, so it was amazing. I think the main reason it affected me so much was, well, there are two reasons. And I don't know that you and I have talked about this.
We haven't.
There are two things that stood out to me about that Rebels trailer. One was Kanan in Stormtrooper armor.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love that because I love when Luke and Han are in the armor. And Vader fighting Kanan. Oh my gosh.
Dude. So I completely agree with that. But there's some other big reveals in that trailer that got us even more, even excited even more.
Oh.
We saw Ahsoka Tano helping out the Rebels, doing her thing and kicking butt. But we also saw the return of Rex.
Yeah.
And some of the clones that have been abandoned or they're surviving from Order 66.
Right.
And they're old, they're gruff, they're tough. They look like they're just ready to kick some butt. They did this big, huge walking. It reminded me of like a Waterworld type of machine, but it was in the desert and on a different planet. Yeah, it's like kind of that contraption-like thing.
Sure.
Walking, and obviously
that's a good reference.
They're in league with the Rebels. They're going to work with them, and they're going to obviously pilot the Ghost with them. They had a scene with between Kanan and Rex where Kanan says something about get him off my tail, Rex, and he's working on it. They're taking on TIE fighters, but there's one TIE fighter in particular that we get to see, Dan, and somebody else is driving that.
It was Vader. I do want to point out those AT-ATs were cool looking too, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
That when Rex came out, I looked right at Jonah Marie.
Yeah.
From Making Stars on Net and the Wookiee Gunner, of course. Everybody loves Jonah Marie. I don't know if she's gotten up from the floor yet because that was like a stunner. I didn't expect to see Rex. You heard his voice.
Yeah.
Name's Rex. You call him the captain. That was that, and then right after that, boom, Hondo.
Yeah, that's right.
Jim Cummings is a voice. That was. I'm happy. I love Hondo. Oh, I'm dying. Excuse me.
Hondo, gotcha.
Yeah.
So anyway, I agree with that. I'm sitting next to Mediocre Jedi, Dave, our good friend, and I look over. I'm kind of doing the, oh my gosh, can you believe this type look? And he's got tears in his eyes. He's welling up. He's excited, and we're just screaming at the top of our lungs, just cheering. The whole crowd in general was going nuts.
Yeah,
just nuts. Even the cast on stage were just shaking their fists and pumping them up high, and they're just psyched, totally psyched. To see these characters come back into Saga again in a totally different era, and we'll see what plays out. Dan, you mentioned too earlier that Kanan fights Vader in the teaser. We don't see a whole much of that in the teaser, but he also takes on Ezra, and in the teaser it looks like he's ready to take Ezra's sword using the Force and sword.
He cut off his head.
That's how tired I am. His lightsaber to cut off his head just kind of ends on that teaser or that cliffhanger. And of course, James Earl Jones is back as Vader.
James Earl Jones, who's that? James Earl Jones.
I said James Earl Jones.
You said James Earl Jones.
No, I did not.
Okay, everybody's yelling at the radio now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so he's come back to do the voice of Vader. Obviously, that's a huge get. Getting him to do classic new lines, canon lines that are going to be integrated into obviously a big variety of new quips and new
just his candor, his dialogue,
new dialogue that we'll be able to pick up and use, like impressive, most impressive, things like that. So it's going to be something we'll be quoting. That's what I want to say. We're quoting it. In the next season, and as exciting as all that was, the next thing they do, they bring out Ashley Eckstein and D. Bradley Baker, the voices of Rex and the clones and Ahsoka, and I mean that was awesome. I can't imagine them standing behind the stage, kind of like getting excited as well, having this big, huge reveal.
Yeah, it's spectacular. We're going to talk more about the actual. We saw a trailer. Talk more about what happens at the beginning of season 2 in a little bit. You'll hear a roundtable I did real quickly with that, but spectacular. So the trailer was over, and then we were off to the races because we had something pretty special.
That's right. We had some media stuff to get to, and we showed up to the before that they had the podcasting stage.
Yeah.
So we ran over to 208B in my mind. And watched Full Sith do their podcast on the stage live. How was that, Dan?
It was cool. They had Chris Taylor on there, and
Darren Radcliffe was up there. Sutter was up there.
Yeah, Darren Hayes.
Darren Hayes was up there.
Members of the New York Harrison and 501st were up there.
They were all shined up and supporting those guys behind there. And looking awesome.
And then Mike let me run the mic at the end for questions, which I pointed out earlier. So that was pretty cool. It was fun, besides being podcasters, we are fans like everybody else, and we love Full Sith, so it was really neat to see them live.
Absolutely.
That was fun.
It was cool to support them, too, because they came to our show and supported us.
Yeah.
And, we tried to... the other thing I want to say, too, is we're privileged to make that stage and do that. I know we want to do lots of other things. The whole con itself was just kind of comboggled. I know folks were talking about how things kind of ran together or ran over or hard to get into other places. They had to pick and choose, and that was definitely the case with this Saturday. There was quite a few events that then I had to split up to go to kind of double up on and both try to cover. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But the full set panel was great. Those guys the room was full. I mean, the people were trying to sneak in and just to see a glimpse of those guys. And then the line after they got done was awesome, just to meet them and shake their hands and get to know them a little longer as far as folks have been following them and friends and fans of theirs.
True. So as soon as Full Sith was over, we had, if you're listening to this, you've probably seen it, you know what happened. We got to talk to Freddie in person, and it was probably better than we even imagined. Our shows with him are always popular. He's a wonderful guy. You're never going to hear us say a bad thing about him because he's a real person. In the world of Hollywood, he's about as real as it gets. No pretense about the man. So I got to sit down with him and Eric Geller from the Force Cast and Teresa Delgado from Fangirls Going Rogue and the Bill from the Wolfpack. So it was just us and Freddie in a room. And we got chairs out and we circled them up. And I'm just going to say it. Freddie sat next to me. That was cool. I mean, it was awesome. And we just talked, man. We talked, we riffed. He completely knew who I was right away. We just said, there was just like a cool, unspoken bond between he and I and Corey we're very, very honored to have. And you know what? That doesn't make us special. It just means we talked to him. And everybody here who's listening right now, you'll feel the same way when you get to meet Freddie. I guarantee it. Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree. And I was going to say too, Dan, it's something to talk to somebody through the podcast or even anybody we've met over, interviewing or having on for Rebels Reactions, and then meeting them in person, and they're as advertised. Everybody we met literally was as advertised. Just as cool, just as fun, and Freddie was just the case there too. I mean, he was down to earth. He was shaking everybody's hand, patting each other on the back, giving hugs, and he was genuinely interested to talk to us. And like you said, the interview went great, and we're going to post that up. And I haven't even heard that yet. So it's been that crazy that we've been going 12-hour days of just running and going and doing everything. So
I want to interrupt Corey right there.
Sure.
The reason that Corey didn't hear the interview is because through this process, because there's a lot of hoops you got to go through and a lot of stuff you got to do for this kind of thing. They don't let you have one person from the media each outlet, and so Corey and I talked about it, and as soon as we found out, I texted him right away, said, I want you to do it, I think you'll do an amazing job, and Corey said, you know what, Dan, you helped us get tickets to Disneyland, I want you to do it. So I'm thanking you publicly, I already thanked you before, for graciously passing the baton to me. I know you'd have done an incredible job, but it means a lot to me. It just shows we continually put family before anything else, so thank you for that.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was going to say, too, you did a great job interviewing him. We're going to check that out, too. After the interview got over with...
that was great.
It was crazy because I was waiting outside just to catch up with you afterwards. I missed a couple of phone calls and a couple texts from him because for one reason or another it just didn't come through. And of course, you come and get me physically, and he said, come on, he wants to take a picture real fast.
Yeah, let's do some more behind the scenes.
Sure.
And when you're emailing or texting or tweeting, if you put something on caps, it means you're yelling. I said to Tracy Kenobi, the publicist for Lucasfilm, hey, Corey's right outside. Freddie said it's cool if he comes in, because he wants to meet him too. Can I get him? She said, yes, please hurry. And of course, Freddie was like, yeah, man, go get him. So I texted him, come in. No response. Now, and I just like, hurry! And I walk out there, and Corey's out there schmoozing with James Burns from Jedi News.
James Burns, we're chatting it up, and we're talking about Celebration and stuff. And you come running out, your eyes are like as big as dishes, and like, dude. I was like, oh my gosh! So I ran it real fast, and got to meet Freddie, shake his hand. He knew exactly what it was. Give me a big hug.
You walked in, he goes, what's up, man?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like he did with us.
Like we do with anybody.
Yeah.
Just who he is. And we gush because we
haven't slept.
Pretty much.
And because it was great.
And it was great to even, I felt like I did that with everybody. Just, everyone was like generally excited to see each other. When we met people on the floor or up on a panel or waiting in line. And Freddie was just a fan among fans. That's all I'm going to say. Just like that. Because that's exactly what it was. Given his status or whatever. He was just cool. He was gracious and loving of our support and fandom.
Another fun thing about this is, for the interview, I was very privileged to witness the ceremony, a very private ceremony, of Freddie getting indoctrinated into the 501st as an honorary member. That was special. That was
cool.
Nice. And,
that was really cool.
I didn't, of course, say, why don't you take pictures? I'd tell you I didn't take pictures. That was a private thing.
Sure.
And I wanted to just take it in with my own eyes. Other people were taking pictures, and God bless them. That's no problem at all. But it's out there online if you want to see it. I just wanted to watch it with my own eyes. So when it was over, he took pictures with all of us. He signed everything we wanted him to sign, got some autographs, took our hand, talking with them later, blah, blah, blah. And he left.
There's one more thing that happened, though.
What's that?
So we had these exclusive Coffee with Kenobi mugs.
Oh, yes.
And we gave one to Steve, and we gave one to Freddie. And we said, hey, here you go. Thank you so much for coming to our show. We'll give you something special, something exclusive. He's like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to drink coffee out of this.
Yeah, he goes, I go, man, there's like 5 of these right now. We got to change the logo because of legal stuff, but you got something special here, man. He goes, nice. And then he said, I'm going to drink out of this. I'm going to drink my coffee out of this tomorrow morning. And sure enough, Corey, what happened?
Sure enough, the next day, he tweets out a selfie with holding the mug there, and he says, "Now I'm inducted in the Coffee Kenobi Club." So it was a blast for him to do that. We didn't expect that.
You can't pay for that kind of endorsement.
It gets you laughing awesome. Because it was so much fun.
It was surreal,
very surreal.
When we saw that picture, we were walking in the convention center for day 4, and we were like, I don't know who saw it first. I think I did. And after I fell up, after Corey picked me up off the ground,
yeah, right.
It was super cool. But this is going to be like the longest rambling ever, so.
It is.
After that, basically what we had to do is we had to divide and conquer.
Right.
So I went to the Rebels Season 2 premiere.
Well, you were the red carpet.
Yeah, the red carpet was there.
And then you went to this premiere.
You
did that, and I went to the James Arnold Taylor talking to himself stage show.
Right.
And then followed by that was his interview with Mark Hamill.
Right.
Yeah, I was a little down that I didn't go see Rebels, but certainly we'll catch up soon. And I went to see the Jat show because first of all, I'm a huge fan of Jat. I love what he does. Love his talent. I love his charisma. Love just who he is as a person. And I went to see his live show, stage show, live, literally. And walked with good friends of ours. Tommy Mack and his family were there. Walked in, sat down, had a great time. And Jet blew up the roof off the house, man. It was packed. He knocked him out. The guy is so talented.
Yeah.
He's got hundreds, probably thousands of voices in his queue to just pull up at its moment's notice and do. And his stage show is so cohesive, and he's such a professional about this stuff. It was great. It was hilarious. He told awesome jokes. The guy is truly a voice acting legend. And I can't say it enough that how much he's down to earth and genuine as well. Like we talked about Freddie being just that way. James is that way as well. He's had a crazy weekend being the host of all kinds of different panels. And then for him to do his own version of the stage show and then go right into the Mark Hamill show, that poor guy, I don't know. I think he changed shoes and changed shirt in between. That was about it. And he came back out just as much with enough power and charisma doing the Mark Hamill show. And I have never seen Mark live again. I've seen some stuff on YouTube and online and stuff. And Mark again was a showmanship. He was out there doing his thing, talking up the crowd and we asked some questions about the original trilogy. He actually made a reference to the Force Awakens teaser trailer number 2, the voiceover he did.
Yeah.
And I'll explain that just a little bit here. He remarked on the voiceover work. If you guys have seen the trailer, I suggest go out and check it out. But he did some voiceover work, which is originally from Jedi, where he says, he's talking about the Force, and he says, my father has it, I have it, and you have it. Something along the lines.
You have that power,
You have that power, too, yeah. So, and somebody said, James Arnold Taylor asked, well, how was that recorded? Well, I guess JJ asked him to come in about literally 2 weeks ago from this recording and said, hey, we're going to do a recap of that voice. We're going to mix it with the old and with the new and kind of do a mixture of it and get some kind of vintage sound with some current sound, and we're going to do it again. So Mark was like, oh, okay, cool. So they went and recorded that, and apparently Mark had said some of the outtakes were really funny, but he made kind of flub doing the voiceover work for the second time. He says he changed verbiage, or he changed tense.
Yeah.
When he referred to "my father has it," he kept saying "my father had it." So from "has" to "had," which the line should be "my father has it." So I think there was a flub on his part just by pure accident.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was cool to see that. Again, Mark Hamill, huge guy, huge. I mean, like I said, the crowd went nuts. Everybody had a great time. He entertained. He answered a bunch of fun questions, and gave us some awesome historic background on Frank Oz and doing the Yoda scene, and of course meeting Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing, meeting him and obviously acting with him in the films was legendary for him as an actor, because at that time it was just working with those type of personalities was huge. So again, those two shows were incredible. I was glad to be there. After that, I'm like, Dan, where are you at? What's going on? And you guys are sitting down and having dinner. Who are you having dinner with?
We were, this was cool because we ate with Jeff Murray. Yep. Jeff Murray. Wow. No. We ate with Scott Murray from Assembly of Geeks, Jeff McGee from Coffee With Kenobi and Marvin Dog Media, and Thomas Riddle from Stars in the Classroom, and Ian Desher of William Shakespeare Star Wars.
There's a couple other people there, too, I think.
You bet. Then Marcus Doring from the 501st came and showed up and hung
Mark's
us.
a big fan. Shout out to Mark.
He was awesome. We love spending time with Marcus. We met him. I met him the first day.
First day, yeah.
Yeah, in the queue for JJ. He's cool. So hope to chat with Marcus again.
So Ian was there.
Yeah, Ian was great. It's the first time we met face to face. Of course, I helped him, worked with him on his prequel Shakespeare books, and so we've talked a lot ever since the first time he was ever on Coffee with Kenobi. I still feel like he and John Jackson Miller were the first guests we
interviewed.
Actually, speaking of him, John walked by when we were but he looked tired. So
he looked tired. He was with his wife, I think, so I don't want to interrupt him. But
so Corey shows up, and we just hang. Those are the quality moments, man. You sit there, do that, and it's just a wonderful experience.
Well, the other thing, too, I want to say to Ian's character, too, he was so humble and gracious to sit with us and just eat some pizza and hang out.
You would never know he's a New York Times bestselling author. He's just a cool guy. You feel like you know him in real life.
Yeah, and that's the case, too. Throughout this whole entire event, I was just floored by meeting up with people that we've met and just interacted with. I mean, I'm repeating myself, I know, but that was the biggest highlight, I think, of the whole entire event, was meeting these folks that are either in the production of Star Wars, work for Star Wars, love Star Wars, or just are good friends of ours that just have gotten to meet up with us, or fans of ours that stop us and say hi. And it was just incredible. So that's the recap for what, day 3?
That was day 3.
Okay, so
day 4, we'll try to speed it up if we can. But I mean, this is fun. This is fun, you know. Yeah. Believe it or not, when you're at Celebration, different things happen. I'm a regimented guy. I wake up at a certain time. I go to bed at a certain time. I have my 3 meals a day. In Celebration, you forget that you haven't eaten. You forget that you got to go to the bathroom for crying out loud.
That's right.
You're running around, and there's so much going on. We had our pre-show with Amy Radcliffe, talking about the panels. We saw some panels, but it was more about interacting with people and chatting with people. And day 4 was maybe the coolest day for some reasons. That's when we got to meet a lot of listeners. We met listeners every day, and just really, really cool people that never heard of us, but hope to help spread the word.
Yep.
But a lot of people came and stopped us, got pictures with them, they gave us suggestions for the show. Everyone was so gracious and kind, and apologize we don't remember all of your names, but you know who you are. You've got invitations to come and chat with us sometime. It was a true joy.
It really was.
And go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, we ended our day with Ian Desher, And then the day before here, we started a day with Ian Desher again.
And Jeff.
And Jeff McGee, exactly. And we got some coffee. That's the cool thing, too. It's like, we both love coffee, and we can, coffee starts conversations, Dan.
Oh, that's good. I like that. You're on it.
Hey,
You're on it.
I'm not
it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You got this.
So anyway, we sit down at Starbucks, and we're just sitting there hanging out, talking about Star Wars, talking about the con, and
who comes out with J.J. Abrams on a pony? Just kidding, that didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. If that would have happened, I would have lost it. Yeah.
I would have too.
For the pony, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So we're sitting there having coffee, just hanging out. Again, Ian's awesome, Jeff is awesome, hanging out and enjoying the con. And we decided to walk in because Ian's got to get in and get ready for his panel. And so we get in and get in line.
Yeah, let's just be honest. We snuck in.
We used our channels to get in.
We used our channels, that's right. Well, they let you in at 10. There's a long queue, and this is the only time we did this. Ian had to set up at 9:30 to go through run-through before his panel. Right. That's legitimate. And he's our buddy, and I wanted to get in line for the Celebration store, darn it. So we slipped in there, and it was cool because we got to get, Corey and I and Ian got to get some pictures, which you've seen on our Facebook and Twitter by now, of us sitting around the Jarg table in the Falcon with our coffee. That was a really, really neat thing. Got some Ian, met a cool droid builder, and got some photos with R2.
Yep.
And then we got in line at the Celebration store, and everything was picked over. I bought nothing at the Celebration store the whole weekend, except for the poster, which I love the logo. And you know why I didn't buy anything? Because the line was 3 hours long.
Yeah, I originally got in line. I think it was day 2.
I think it was 2.
You were working the StarWars.com booth.
Yeah.
And I jumped in line to grab you one of those Star Wars t-shirts, the William Shakespeare Star Wars t-shirts with Luke on it. And I grabbed in line and stood there for a little bit. I said, "Hey guys, you've been in line for a long time?" He said, "Oh yeah, the queue is about 3 hours to get paid out." And I was like,
"I just buy at Christmas time."
No kidding. I mean, and I get it. It's busy, and it just was. Well, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time and stand in line to pay for some T-shirts and stuff. So I just kind of put them back and decided to do some other things. But that's beyond the point. So. It's a little depressing to not be able to get some of that merchandise, but maybe it'll pop up online again, and we'll be able to grab some of that stuff eventually down the road.
Right. Good point. So then we just made the rounds and talked, said goodbye to people, Matt and Andy, and we got to get a chance to talk to Dak again. And oh my gosh, I forgot something pretty important, didn't I?
Oh yeah, well then Ian's panel pops up,
which was great,
which was awesome. We went up there about 11 o'clock and sat down. Super right up front, and it was cool because they had a bunch of voice actors come out, and they all had
who kind of on Legends Library too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Let's see, we had Mark Thompson was up there, David Collins was up there, Ian himself was up there,
who does a great Greedo.
Oh my gosh, dude, I was totally impressed. He got the language down perfectly, so he's been working that really hard. I know he has. So they actually acted out. Quite a few parts from his books, straight from William Shakespeare Star Wars. And if you guys haven't heard this stuff, I'm sure it'll pop up online, or they might release some of that stuff with the live stream or on YouTube. Check it out. These folks are so talented; they can switch gears and then quote William Shakespeare like you would not believe in Yoda's voice. I mean,
it was so entertaining. Really? You read, and it's just like real Shakespeare. You read it and you love it, but to hear it and see it performed. There's nothing like it. It was special. It was hilarious.
It was awesome.
It was hilarious. So
we had to cut out a little bit early on that, and then we had to run over to. Let's see. We had an interview with Ashley Eckstein. Ashley was totally awesome, Dan. She was totally gracious, totally a lot of fun, totally kind. She was just so sweet and so kind and so humble just to meet us. And we were like, "Oh no, it's great to meet you." And I think that's the other thing too is. We're excited to meet these people, and they're excited to meet us, too. I mean, they're just as excited as we are. So we got to sit down with her and talk a little about Ahsoka Tano and where she's going to go and what she's got going on with her universe and all that. So that was a lot of fun. We had never met her or had her on our show before. And
it was really great. And we're going to have her on sometime in the future, probably closer to Season 2's out, and Ahsoka's been doing her thing. But it was neat. It's really neat. I'm sure you agree. We've done a lot of interviews. We've been very fortunate, but we've never done so many as we have live.
Right. And as crazy as it is that we go in, record, and edit everything, we make mistakes. For this, we'd have been on our toes and have questions ready, prepared, and stuff. So,
and we were. I actually was on my toes. Like, and now I'm
on your toes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I realized that. Anyway,
we got done with Ashley, and we got down back on the convention floor, and it was like, we got some time to kill a walk around the town a little bit. Ran into some awesome folks that actually stopped us over the Delray booth.
Yeah, Aaron Schoenweiss
shook our hand. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to meet you guys."
He heard my voice. He turned and he goes, "That's Dan Z from Coffee with Kenobi."
He knew you right away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys were all awesome. Shook our hand and got to meet them at Delray. We love Delray books.
Yeah. They were very
complimentary
of us.
Yeah, they loved what we do. It was a kind of give and take. I mean, they're getting their products heard, and we're promoting their products. So for them to say that they enjoy what we do is just great to hear, and nice. Know that we're doing something right, I guess.
And they're pretty darn great too. I do want to jump real quick. We're running out of time, and the battery on this laptop's about to die too.
So Dan, I know we walked around a little bit more too. Hey, walk past Ray's Speeder. That was a little unique.
Oh,
they had
yeah.
the guys.
Yeah.
I want to say they're from German.
From Belgium. They're from Belgium.
So, and they had built a replica of Ray's Speeder from The Force Awakens. Now, I stopped one of the guys who was in charge of building it. Basically, he ran the whole thing. They also did the Falcon set that was right next door to that. And I said, it had a little name card on it that said Kira's Speeder. I said, I'm sorry, what's the name of the Kira? Why is it now Ray's Speeder? And he said, well, that was the code word for Ray at the time when they did the
trailer. I know when they were filming, it was almost like a Blue Harvest situation.
Shapers. I'm literally losing my voice as we speak.
Let's just jump to the fact that we're going to have him on sometime.
Yeah, we got his card, got in touch, so he was cool.
J.J. Abrams was very complimentary of their work, and that is wonderful.
I think that's
all
cool.
we should say.
That's all we should say, I think, too. And that's the other thing, too, is it was very cool for him to show his appreciation for fans, and obviously meeting JJ and getting his perspective on what they have done. And JJ was very appreciative of their work and was really impressed.
You know what? The reason your voice is, I don't think you've ever talked so much in your life as you have the past 4 days. You know why you're losing your voice.
Exactly right. And there's another thing. I've been talking so much, I've developed a canker sore in my mouth.
That's not even possible.
I don't know why that's possible. My voice is really high-pitched. It's really crazy.
It's really high-pitched.
So that's the bulk of, I want to say, day 4.
That was Celebration. And then we said goodbye to our friends. And that stinks.
We said bye to Matt Martin. And while on their way out, which is crazy, real quick.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Vanessa.
We walked past, Thomas Riddle was on his way out as well. And we're kind of shaking our hands. He said, hey, come on over here, guys. And we're going to talk for a second. I was like, okay, sure. And we walked past this little curtain, and all of a sudden, who's there, Dan?
Vanessa Marshall, dude.
Vanessa Marshall.
Got to meet her, too.
And she instantly gave us a hug to me exactly where we were. Again, interaction with another great friend, a great fan of the show, and great talent.
And when she saw it, she said, she recognized it, which is cool. She said, I was going to actually wear my Coffee with Kenobi t-shirt today.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That blows my mind that, that kind of stuff happens. That, I don't know, they're just the biggest fans of us as we are of them. And she gave us big hugs, got a quick picture, said hi, said thank you so much for what you do. We love your character, we love Nara. And she was totally gracious again, just being humble to the character and just being a fan of everybody and just having a great time.
She's good. She's good people. These are all good people. And speaking of good people, we're going to go to a rest stop and get something to eat real quick. That's what's happening now.
That's good people. That's good food right there.
Let's try. This is going to be hard, and we hope we don't leave anybody out. Let's just give a shout-out to every single person who made a connection with it at Celebration. Let's start with Tommy and Troy and Ryder and his wife, Jana. And
we had Darth Taxis was there.
Darth Taxis and Dr. B94 and Marcus Doring. And Chad, the chicken horse.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We also saw Justin Bulger was there. We shook his hand, got to see him. We saw Skywalking Through Neverland. Those guys.
Star Wars fan dad.
That's right. We also saw Joe and Mike from the Cantina cast.
Yeah, Mike and Brian from Full of Sith, of course.
A bunch of our bloggers.
Jay and Pam. Who else? Who else do we see?
Man, I'm trying to track my mind.
It's after 2 o'clock in the morning.
We saw the guys from Full of Sith.
I said...
Okay, so
Mark Newbold, Jonathan
that's right.
Matt Martin, Andy Gutierrez. I sound like all fancy with my language.
Gutierrez, yes. Yeah. Very good. We also met tons of celebrities. Peter Mayhew, Anthony
Daniels.
Anthony Daniels was there, shook his hand.
Yeah.
We saw Freddie, of course. We saw Vanessa Marshall. We saw Ray Park from afar. We saw Mark Hamill. We saw Jad. We saw David Collins. We saw Ian Desher. We saw, my mind is so mixed up.
Let's just keep thanking these great people. Jeff McGee was
Jeff
wonderful.
McGee.
It's so cool to
Scott
spend time
Murray
with
was there.
Scott Murray, so awesome to be with him. Thomas and Westman Stars in the classroom.
Yep.
You're cementing friendships that you've had for the past few years online, and now they're just friendships that everything's closed. We're back on the highway. You're cementing.
Closed? Oh,
yeah.
No.
It's too bad. I'm writing a letter to Ronald.
To Ronald himself.
And Simon, and Sam.
Yep.
And this, who are we? I don't want to miss it. I don't want to leave anybody. And everybody from GHG.
We saw Meteor of Jedi.
We
saw Dave Filoni. We mentioned that?
But I don't know.
We shook his hand.
We didn't shake his hand. That's right.
All right, Dave Filoni. Why not? Thank you, Dave, for all you do.
Amen. And Tracy.
That's right. Oh, my God. Tracy Kenobi. We got to see her, hug her, and shake her hand as well. She's been a great help of getting us connections and be able to get us in touch with the right people to have these great interviews you guys get to hear.
Freddie, Chris Hamilton, How Stars Conquer
the
Universe.
That's right.
We already said Ian. I don't know.
Steve Sansweet.
Steve
Concetta was there.
Concetta, of course, Concetta. Yeah.
Hey, the 501st was there. We got tons of those guys.
This is not name-dropping people. This is people that we're thanking.
Yeah,
they were wonderful to us.
That's right.
And I have no doubt they were wonderful to every single person that they met at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. It was a day long remembered. It was an experience long remembered. Something we've been looking forward to for a very long time. And we had a ball. We hope you've enjoyed listening to our experiences as much as you have, us sharing them with you. Onward and upward with Coffee With Kenobi. We got lots of stuff planned. We got some shows in the can. We got a lot of guests coming your way, and we hope to have each one of you on there. We're very happy. We're very blessed, and we hope everybody gets home safe. Corey, anything else?
Dan, after this con, we've got so much things for people to thank and so many things that we have to do. It's a blessing to be able to go out there and visit Anaheim, do the convention, and see all the things we saw. But we're kind of doing a little bit of a shift with Coffee With Kenobi, and that has to do with just our personal lives and things that are going on and ongoing. I myself am returning to school. I'm going back to school to get a digital marketing degree. So it's kind of taking a little bit more of my time. So I had to kind of shift some gears a little bit with family.
With family first.
Some of my freelance stuff that I do, like my current full-time job. So gears are shifting. Things are always moving here at Coffee With Kenobi. But we're always ready to kind of make the shift and get you guys the best talent out there available. And we got a great friend of ours, great fan of ours on board. Obviously, the most famous guy we know.
That's right.
The Jeff McGee from Marvin Dog Media and some of the geeks is going to be kind of filling spots for me when I can't make it. And
Corey's not leaving.
No, not leaving by any means.
Honestly, when you start saying that, even though I've known about this for a very long time, I sort of feel a little yucky. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Stomach hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, because, you're awesome, but so is Jeff, and Corey's not going away. Jeff's going to pinch hit for you sometimes.
That's right, and I wouldn't have anybody else do it for me. And Jeff's a great guy. We had to see him, hang out with him a lot at Celebration, and got to know him and talk over some details and things. So we'll be hearing Jeff a little bit more, hear me a little bit less, and that's okay because once I get things sorted out, it's probably maybe a year or so between doing Rebels and the new season there. I'll be kind of doing stuff there, and as interviews come up and things like that, we'll be kind of taking some tactics to get things cleaned up and get things out to you guys so you can kind of enjoy it as well. We don't want to. That's the other thing too. Is like the whole reason we're kind of doing this because we're like, we don't want to take a break. We don't want to stop anything. Keep rolling with all this and all these good vibes. So just to be able to get things to you guys a little faster, get things on mark, and keep rolling with our schedule we want to roll with.
And really, I mean, it's really only going to be like probably every other show, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. That'd be the case, and whatever schedules may allow. But we've always said here with Coffee With Kenobi, family comes first, of course. And when that comes in, we try to do our best to kind of navigate through that and be able to make the best decisions possible for our families and for our friends that can come up. And we do that for anybody that we will support too, of course. But Jeff, it's gracious enough to kind of step in for us and pitch in, and we couldn't be happier to have him on. And so, if you're a transition of Jeff on, give him a shout out, give him your love, much as you guys have done with us. I appreciate all the stuff you guys have supported us with at the con and stuff, and shaking our hands and stuff. I couldn't be happier, honestly. It's heightened my fandom.
Wow.
Honestly, it really has. It's heightened my fandom of Star Wars and of fandom in general. And so, again, I would expect to just make a good transition here and there as the year goes on, and certainly excited to see what Jeff has to bring to the exciting. Sorry, we went through the car accident.
Yeah,
so we had to slow down.
As you do, of course.
And
we're friends, we're family, and this is the most time we've ever spent together, and we still love each other. We didn't kill each other. It was fun.
Anyway, so we're making transition to this new format, and I hope you guys like it.
And it'll be good. And it's Corey and I have been friends for a while. And we're family, and we're still smiling, still think the world of each other. It's been a pleasure being your co-host and your co-pilot, and I can't wait to see what the future brings. And I'm happy that you and I are still rocking and rolling, my friend.
Absolutely. We got some exciting stuff for you guys.
Wait, this is where you say something nice about me.
Oh, is that how that works? Okay.
I thought so. Come on.
Well, I'm not leaving. I'm not going away. You make it sound like I'm graduating to high school or something.
You're not.
Or going to college or something like that. Well, I guess I'm going to college.
You are going to college.
I guess that's the case, too. Give me a graduation present. I agree. No, like you said, yes, it's been fanfare of a weekend. And I couldn't, honestly, most of the stuff that I do, we talked about this weekend, Dan. We're not the same types of personalities. Dan's a little more aggressive than I'm a little more laid back than Dan is. But we balance each other out. And
I prefer outgoing.
Outgoing, there you go. I like that. We're both positive, both enjoy doing what we do. But, honestly, like I said, none of this is possible with, we didn't work together as a team.
That's right.
And if we did, just individually, there's no way we could cover as much as we do.
That's right.
Do what we do and bring you guys content as we do.
There would be no show if it wasn't for
us.
Hanging. Me and you, yeah.
Well, for me and you, just hanging out and doing, drinking coffee.
That's right.
So, again, I appreciate you, getting out there and a hold of folks that can get us some really cool stuff to do. Like I said, meeting Freddie, meeting some of the people that I admire. We got into Disneyland and experienced all kinds of new stuff. Again, like I said, Dan's a walking encyclopedia for Disneyland, Disney World. And I couldn't do that without Dan. I wouldn't be able to do without him as far as doing that kind of stuff. And it's exciting because it's making memories, folks.
Yes.
We talked about this earlier, too. It's like how we weren't getting some pictures and stuff. I'm like, no, this is a memory in our mind we're able to live out forever and be able to remember and just enjoy for all time to come and see what comes next. So, this is a transition we're going to make, and
it's all good.
Again, it's going to shift back once everything's kind of changed around. It's just the way life is. You guys probably know it too. Lives go and things change. So there it is. That's how it's going to be. So for Coffee With Kenobi, I'm Corey Clubb.
And I'm Dan Z. Thank you again so much for experiencing Celebration Anaheim with us. We will talk to you soon.
Chewie, get us out of here!
If you would like to respond to our question of the show, have a comment, or just want to say hello, Send us an email or MP3 at feedback@coffeewithkenobi.com. Or if you have a specific question or comment for either of us individually, email us at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com or coryc@coffeewithkenobi.com. Or visit us at coffeewithkenobi.com and click on the Contact Us section or comment on one of the stories featured on the site. If you enjoy the show, please write a review in iTunes or Stitcher. You can also like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi, as well as keep up to date at our Twitter feed at Coffee with Kenobi. You can also find us on Tumblr at coffeewithkenobi.tumblr.com. If you enjoy the jazz music, the album is Eye to Eye by Steve Torok.
Give the evacuation code signal.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.